Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is a prayer from the Krishna Yajurveda, specially suitable for the study when we are launching this Sanskrit classes on this day, 18th of October. I thought this is an appropriate prayer that should be explained to the students. First, the meaning of part of the mantra is Sahana Vavatu. God, may God protect both of us, the student and the teacher. First we should be safe, secure, and then we can continue with our study. Sahano Bhunaktu, may he nourish us both, the teacher and the student, may he nourish us both. Sahaviryam Karavavahi, may we become vigorous. Tejasvinavadhitamastu, whatever is studied by us should become Tejasvi, it should become luminous. Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavai, and may we not hate each other. There should be love between the student and the teacher. With this intention, the prayer is there, and I hope we mark a good beginning with this, and we are seeking the blessing of the Almighty for a smooth running of these classes. Yenakshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat Krishnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Yena Dhauta Giraha Pumsam Vimalai Shabdavari Vihi Tamaschagnanajam Bhinnam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakaram Cha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Om Namaha Panini Katyayana Patanjalibhyaha Shabda Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rushibhyo Mahadbhyo Munibhyo Gurubhyaha. I will first explain the meaning of these poems. Salutation to the Panini, that Panini who, having obtained the knowledge of Sanskrit alphabet from Maheshwara, Lord Shiva, wrote the entire grammar in the form of Ashtadhyayi. Ashtadhyayi is the oldest and the grandest surviving grammar of Sanskrit. It is the earliest work on descriptive linguistics and does mark the beginning of the history of linguistics itself. Panini's grammar marks the end of Vedic Sanskrit and thereby introduces the classical Sanskrit. Panini was from Pushkalavati, Gandhara in modern day, Charsadda district of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in Pakistan, which is now in Pakistan. He is supposed to have lived around 6th century BC. His mother's name is given as Dakshi, and father is said to be Panini is referred to by 8 other names in several books. This is the information available from my teacher, who wrote an introduction to his Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, the Pratasmaraniya Pulela Sri Ramachandrudu, Professor Sri Ramachandrudu, Padma Shri. He wrote a wonderful introduction to work on grammar, Sanskrit grammar, Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. And the names are like this: Panini, Panina, Dakshiputra, Shalanki, Shalaturiya, Ahika, Panineya, Paniputra. These are the 8 names by which Panini is referred to in many books. But most popular name in the entire world is Panini. And the moment we listen to the name Panini, it is Ashtadhyayi and no other book. The monumental work done by him. Here the word Akshara Samamnaya in the poem refers to the letters. We will be shortly seeing the letters. The entire alphabet of Sanskrit Varnamala refers to the letters from A to H, which make the entire alphabets of Panini's 18 aphorisms, or what are called as sutras. And out of these 14 sutras, Maheshwara Sutras, which are called, since Panini is believed to have been told these, he has been, a revelation took place. Revelation was done by Lord Shiva to Panini. Panini got the revelation from Lord Shiva, and therefore it is called Maheshwara Sutrani, coming from the Maheshwara. And 14, out of these 14, 43 abbreviations are made in the system of Paninian system. 43 abbreviations are made. Technical terms, all the technical terms are made from this. We will slightly refer to these, what are these, in a little while later. Now the alphabet is like this. We will also see in the book later. I am just reading for the sake of the listener. I un, ruluk, a om, I ouch, hayavarat, lan, nyamangadanam, jhabai, ghadadash, jabagadash, khapa chata, Chatatau, Kapai, Shasasar, Hal. This constitutes the entire alphabet in Sanskrit from A to Ha, and this is known as the what is already referred to as Akshara Samamnaya. And the poem 2, which I just read out, Yena Dhauta Giraha Pumsam, etc., meaning of which goes like this: salutation to that Panini by whom the speech of the folks had been cleansed or polished by the words of pure waters, and by whom the darkness born out of ignorance was shattered. The third poem means the poem beginning with Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashakaram Patanjalim, salutation to Vararuchi, who is also popularly known by the name Katyayana, and wrote the Vartikas, or what are called the explanatory, supplementary rules that explain about the said, about the things said by the writer, about the things unsaid by the writer, and about the things which are imperfectly said by the writer. These are all covered by the notes supplied by Vararuchi or Katyayana, which are, and there is a definition also for Vartikam. Ukta anukta duruktartha vyaktikari, that which throws light on the said things, on the unsaid things and ill-said things. And therefore this Katyayana or Vararuchi came a century later than Panini. Panini's time is highly debated, but my guru and an outstanding scholar put him 2900 BC. If Panini comes at a time 2900 BC, Katyayana came 100 years later and gave these notes. He gave the fillings, he gave the fillings wherever there were gaps in the works of Panini, in the work of Panini, and they were all supplied by this Katyayana. We also pray him for his. And the last poem, we say, salutation to Patanjali, who is called the Bhashyakara. Patanjali came 300 years later than Panini, and he wrote a masterpiece, a great commentary, as the name itself suggests, Mahabhashyam, a very great commentary on the work of Panini's Astadhyayi. As we have been, I am repeatedly saying Astadhyayi. Astadhyayi has Ashta in Sanskrit means 8, Adhyaya means chapters. It has 8 chapters, and further divided into each Adhyaya is divided into 4 padas, and like that there are 8 into 4, 32 sections are there in Astadhyayi, and containing about 400 what are called sutras. What is sutra? Little while will come to know that. So coming to the Mahabhashya of Patanjali, salutation to Patanjali, the great commentator and writer of Mahabhashya, a work which was composed on the grammar of Panini and Vartikas of Katyayana. See, the Katyayana, who was just earlier referred to, supplied notes, and taking the notes and taking the text of Panini's Astadhyayi, Patanjali could write such a wonderful commentary, Mahabhashya, and throwing light on several other aspects of grammar, and it incorporates many scientific subjects under the guise of a commentary of Panini. And there is a famous saying with regard to Patanjali. He says, Ekaha Shabdaha Suprayuktaha Swarge Sugnataha Suprayuktaha Swarge Lokecha Kamadhuk Bhavati. If you know one word well and use it properly, then you will enjoy both here and in the heaven. See the importance of the amount of importance the Indians, ancient Indians gave to proper speaking, proper wording, proper language is very easily made out from this statement of Patanjali. Ekaha shabdaha sugnataha, known well. One shabda, if it is known well, suprayuktaha, and used properly. Properly used in the sense grammatically it should be correct. And Panini was the master who gave fine touches to the Vyakarana. In a little while we will also brief history of Vyakarana will take up under the guise of a commentary. So it is a customary in India to pay respect to these Munitrayam. We call them Munitrayam, Panini, Katyayana, Patanjali, sage trio who are responsible for making this language a perfect one and handing over it to the posterity. Because of these three ancient Sanskrit grammarians, the grammar is also called Trimuni Vyakarana. It is also known as Trimuni Vyakarana. The Panini's Ashtadhyayi, Katyayana's notes, and Mahabhashya of this Patanjali, Trimuni Vyakarana. The Mahabhashya of Patanjali has been commented upon by several writers, and most prominent among them is one by Bhartruhari, the oldest and the standard one. It is said Bhartruhari belongs to 7th century AD and his commentary is known as Mahabhashya Deepika. In India, there are two traditions of grammar known as Indra Sampradaya and Maheshwara Sampradaya. So it seems Indians had grammar not just as grammar, but they treated it as a science, Vyakarana Shastra. And by the way, and at the same time, this Vyakarana is a part and parcel of the Vedangas. 6 Vedangas. There are 6 auxiliary Vedas, 4 Vedas, Rik, Sama, Yajur, Atharvana Veda, and 6 Angas. Siksha, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Jyotisham, Chandas, Kalpa, etc. And now this comes immediately after Siksha. Siksha is nothing but the modern in linguistic phonetics, how to pronounce words properly. And you know, in the Veda, if a word is mispronounced, the effect will be, there will be ill effect. The result will be different. So phonetics developed, this Siksha Shastra developed only to teach how to pronounce the Vedic mantras. And Vyakarana teaches you about the grammar part of the analysis of the words, the derivation of the words and their meanings. So Vyakarana is a part of Shadangas, what you call 6 auxiliaries of the Vedas. So much importance was given in India long ago. So referring to this Indra Sampradaya and Maheshwara Sampradaya, a grammar by name Katantra Vyakarana belongs to the Indra Sampradaya, while Paniniya Vyakarana, which I have been talking, to the later Maheshwara Sampradaya. And it is also said in the books of grammar, Vyakarana is a vast subject. It is like a Samudravat Vyakaranam. It is a very vast subject. Maheshwara's Vyakarana was like an ocean, and Panini only took a drop from it, they say. Kushagra bindut patitam. Kusha agra. Kusha means blade of grass. Agra means tip. Kushagra bindu utpatitam hi panino. A drop falling from the tip of the blade. You can imagine such a small size of that much knowledge of grammar was dawned on Panini from Maheshwara. And Panini made it such a big work, a work which has been continuously studied all over the world in the Department of Linguistics. The earliest mention also is found of grammar is found in the Rig Veda. Chatvari Srunga Trayo Vasya Pada Dve Sirshe Sapta Hasta Sovasya Tridha Baddho Vrishabho Roraviti Mahadevo Martya Avivesha. This comes in the Rig Veda, Chaturtha Mandala. This mantra refers to grammar as a bull who has 4 horns. What are the 4 horns? It's a symbolism here, representing the 4 horns, representing the 4 parts of ancient Sanskrit grammar: Nama, Akhyata, Upasarga, Nipata. Nama nouns, Akhyata verbs, Upasarga prepositions, and Nipata. There are some words called Nipata, Nipatanti, indeclinable words, avyayas, and all others are Nipata. Trayo Asya Pada. This bull of grammar has 3 feet. Trayo Asya Pada. It has 3 feet. Grammatically, it has been interpreted by the grammarians. The 3 feet refer to the 3 tenses. Vartamana, the present, Bhuta, the past, Bhavishyat, the future. These 3 are called the 3 feet of the grammar bull. And the Dve Sirshe, it has 2 heads. 2 heads representing the 2 important constituents of Sanskrit grammar, Subanta and Tinganta. Subanta and Tinganta. Sup is the terminations which are added to form the nouns, and Ting is the termination added to form the verbs. We may not be learning in that way because we are now going to follow a book which is readily given to us, readily available. I'll come to that a little later. Terminations of nouns and the verbs. Saptahasta, very finely, 7 hands the bull has, referring to the 7 vibhaktis in Sanskrit, the 7 cases, beginning from nominative case, accusative case, instrumental case, dative case, ablative case, genitive case, and the locative case. What we call Prathama Vibhakti, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, Panchami, Shashti, and Saptami. These are supposed to be the 7 hands the bull having. Tridha Baddho, it is bound in 3 ways. Tridha Baddho. What is the 3-way binding? Representing the 3 places in the production of the sound. Sound producer is the air is pumped from the lungs, from the chest, comes to the throat, and then it finally emerges from the mouth. So Tridha Baddha, the sound system or vak, is bound in 3 places, and finally it comes out of the mouth. So where the bull of grammar is bound, this is what is said. Now let us go to a few words. As I said, since this is the first day for us, I would like the beginners, the viewers, to also know a little more about the importance of Sanskrit grammar, and then we will not have an occasion for talking all these things again. What is Vyakarana? It is explained, Vyakriyante Vyutpadyante Shabdaha Anena iti. Originally this is the definition. Vyakriyante meaning Vyutpadyante. Derivation of words was meant grammar. Vyakarana means derivation of new words. Originally that was the sense in which it was used, but later it came to deal with the derivation of the words, and also it started to describe the nature of the words and decide their meanings. Now this is what is going on. It describes the nature of the words and then decides their meaning. And this is how the Vyakarana word is explained. And now I referred earlier to several sutras of Panini. What is a sutra? You may be having a doubt. Suchanat Sutram. It indicates, it's an indicator. There is so much condensed. It's a kind of pithy saying. Sutram, Suchayati, Sute, etc. etc. Swalpaksharam Asandigdam, definition is like this. Saravad Vishwatomukam Astobham Anavadyam Cha Sutram Sutravido Viduhu. A sutra is an aphorism which says many things in few words, with little words, using little words. So when Panini made so many thousands of sutras, he had to condense so much into this, and each sutra has to be explained. That is why the explanation part is very important. For example, in Sanskrit Vyakarana, Ach, many people know Achulu, Ach. Ach is a technical term, it's a pratyahara coined by Panini. Beginning from the first sutra, I, one, ruk, a, wong, I, ouch. So beginning from a, ending with cha. So ach means technically it means all the vowels are covered there. When he said al, all the consonants are covered. So sutra is that. So out of these so many sutras, the grammar is made. Now Panini, as I said, mentions in his Ashtadhyayi 10 names of his ancient grammarians of his times. I thought it would be proper to name them just out of respect, giving a kind of respect to them. Apashali, Kashyapa, Gargya, Galava, Chakravarman, Bharadwajaha, Syakatayana, Syakalyaha, Senakaha. These are the 10 people, grammarians, who were prior to Panini. Now you can see the tradition coming down in India. Panini himself received the knowledge from Maheshwara Sampradaya, then another Sampradaya. Then we have Indra Vyakarana, Chandra Vyakarana. So many Vyakaranas were there. It looks, there was a, correctly said, Samudravat Vyakaranam. Vyakarana is like an ocean. And all the Vyakaranas almost faded away before the work of Panini. And whatever we are studying, directly or indirectly, we are studying Paninian grammar only. Mention also may be made of the grammarians who came after Panini and wrote grammars deriving help from Ashtadhyayi. Among them, few names have disappeared, some are merely heard, while quite a few are available as classical Sanskrit grammar. The following are the important ones: Katantrakara, Chandragomi, Kshapanaka, Devanandi, Vamana, Palyakirti, Sivaswami, Bhojadeva, Buddhisagara, Bhadreshwara Suri, Hemachandra, Kramadishwaraha, Saraswataha, Ramashrama, Siddhanta Chandrikakara, Bopadeva. Now, with these list, we can know how prevalent and how ancient the Sanskrit grammar has been in India. So it is coming since millenniums, and even now people are there in India and abroad studying Sanskrit and taking the benefit. What are the benefit of reading Sanskrit? Vyakarana, I will little later let you know. Now few words about Sanskrit, that is done. Then what is Sanskrit? We come to the main. People ask, what is Sanskrit? I have to tell you the derivation of this word Samskritam. But in English, Anglicized way of saying Sanskrit. In colleges and universities, we only say Sanskrit, but that is not the correct. Samskritam, Samskritam, that which has been refined. Sam is a prefix, kru is a verb, root verb, and ta is a participle, tanta. And when these are there, you get the formation of the word Samskrita. Sam means together, kru to do. So, which means it was made thoroughly made. It was thoroughly made, refined. It was very cultured. So earlier, this was Sanskrit was called originally, before it was given this title, name Samskrita, Bharati, Bhasha, and Chandas, etc. And later it was called, it came to be known as Sanskrit only. And it was also called Sanskrit perhaps to differentiate from the Prakrits. Prakrits were the vernaculars of their times when Sanskrit was there. There is a big argument whether Prakrit was the first or the existing languages, or Sanskrit was in the beginning there. So one scholar, Vijendranath Jha, said, Samskritam Prakrutihi Samskritam. Originally there was Sanskrit. Tadagatam Prakritam. Prakrit came from Sanskrit. It was not that Sanskrit came from Prakrit, but Prakrit came from the Sanskrit. Prakrutihi Samskritam. Originally it was Sanskrit. Tadagatam came from that Prakrit. And from these Prakrits, which were vernaculars in India, spoken languages in the, there are some, so it was given this name What I am trying to tell you is Sanskrit was also given to differentiate from the Prakrits, the other vernaculars. What were the vernaculars? Popular vernaculars were like Shauraseni, spoken in the region of Mathura, Magadhi, spoken in the present day of Bihar, Ardha Magadhi, spoken between Magadha and Mathura, and Paishachi, spoken by the inhabitants of Himalayan valleys. These were the vernaculars in those days, and Sanskrit word was used to differentiate it from the rest of the. As noted earlier, the Munitrayam is responsible, the three sages, the three Munis. This is a refined language different from the Vedic Sanskrit, which was originally called, as I said, Chandasa Bharati Bhasha. Now, I also like to quote here about what Sir William Jones, speaking to the Asiatic Society in Calcutta way back in 1786, said about Sanskrit. The Sanskrit language, whatever be its antiquity, is of a wonderful structure, more perfect than the Greek, more copious than the Latin, and more exquisitely refined than either, yet bearing to both of them a stronger affinity, both in the roots of verbs and in the form of grammar, than could possibly have been produced by accident, so strong indeed that no philologer could examine them all three without believing them to have sprung from some common source which perhaps no longer exists. The script, so this is what the William Jones, addressing the Asiatic Society in Calcutta, said in way back in 1786. The script which is used for our Sanskrit is not only for reading and speaking, is known as Devanagari. Something has to be told now. Sanskritam, as I said, Devanagari. Sanskrit is also called Sanskritam Nama Daivi Vak. Daivi Vak Anvakhyata Maharshibhi. The great sages, rishis, have declared that Sanskrit is the language which is a divine language. Now, if it is a divine language spoken by the gods, then how can we learn? Some people have doubt. So, who is a divine? Who is a god here? That is the question now. If it is the Deva Bhasha, and the script in which it is read and studied is called Devanagari, how can an ordinary man reach up to this? So, then again some explanation is required here. Deva, Vidvamso vai Devaha. Vidvamso vai Devaha. Scholars are gods. Prathamehi Vidvamso Vyakaranaha. Even the grammarians say, first grammarians come. They are the scholars. Vyakarana Moolatvat Sarva Vidyanam. Because Vyakarana is at the source of all the studies in ancient Indian system. So all the knowledge that has been there in Sanskrit, the source, the key is to go to, the key is Sanskrit. Without Sanskrit knowledge, you cannot open the treasure of knowledge. So here, Devanagari, Devanam Nagareshu Uchyamana Bhashava. Devanam Nagareshu. It was the language used in the colonies of gods. So some people try to interpret it, some scholars, that who are these gods? As I said, Vidvamso vai Deva, scholars are gods. Well, it is a language of these scholars, no dispute about it. But then someone interpreted, some scholars interpreted that Aryans came and settled from the northwest, and they were fair in complexion. And with them the Aryan culture, the Vedas came. And this Deva Shabda refers to the Aryan coming to India, and therefore this is the language of the Aryans, fair people, not the dark people. This is only an interpretation. So Devanagari is the script in which it is written. In modern day Hindi has no script, Devanagari script. Marathi, all these, many of the North Indian languages are written in the same script. It is so called. Now I come to the point, what is the purpose and benefit of studying Sanskrit? I just want to say a few words about it. We have a saying in Sanskrit, popular saying, Prayojanam anuddishya mandopina pravartate. Even a fool doesn't want to do anything without looking for the benefit. What is the benefit if I study Sanskrit? What is the benefit if you study Sanskrit? Prayojanam anuddishya, without seeking the benefit. Even a fool, Manda is a dullard. Manda also does not do anything. Wonderful saying. So, what is the benefit? Since the literature in Sanskrit is not only enormous in quantity, but is also remarkable for its brevity and richness in the range of subjects and the branches of knowledge covered: mythology, religion, philosophy, epics, poems, prose, drama, architecture, the fine arts, music, aesthetics, grammar, lexicography, sociology and law, statecraft and military science, mathematics, geometry and astronomy, medicine, and a host of subjects like the study of plants, animals, precious stones, perfumes, cooking, and even sex. We have Kama Shastra on this. All knowledge was systematized by Sanskrit and codified in texts. Whatever a modern scholar today is interested in, it may be linguistics, philosophy, literature, aesthetics, politics, archaeology, inscriptions, Vedanta, yoga, he is the more equipped for his work, the more he is conversant with Sanskrit. So this is the advantage. The advantage is, I have outlined, there are so many areas wherein one can benefit by learning Sanskrit language. The greatest advantage is, as pointed out by language experts and philologists, that the study of ancient language has a disciplinary value, and hence the name humanities. I am very sorry to say that in India now many students are going away from humanities and they are going for only pure sciences, mostly engineering students, engineering sect. They are not anymore interested in humanities. They are taking to the other stream, job oriented courses, etc. So studying a classical language has a disciplinary value which is no more seen in the universities and colleges. And humanities, a name at once true, just and profound. The study of Sanskrit for at least 6 to 9 months can make one understand the thoughts and ideas of past thousands of years. Now this is one of the greatest advantage of reading Sanskrit. Now what is said in Bhagavad Gita, a book of say 5,000, more than 5,000 years old, we can understand by mere study, by some fundamental knowledge of Sanskrit. We can go to the inside, we can go and reach the idea, the thought level of Veda Vyasa. We can read Valmiki's Ramayana. This is the thing. It is not so when we look to the other side. We cannot read the original Geoffrey Chaucer of 14th century, the father of English literature, without the modern English version of it. But whereas we can connect ourselves with the ancientmost mind, we can delve into the deep spiritual experiences of our rishis by learning Sanskrit. This is one of the greatest advantage, because of our Panini, because of our Sanskrit grammar, our language, the Sanskrit has been so well made that we need not worry. We can read the original and enjoy the reading and try to understand the ancient mind even in the modern day. Still, because such wonderful spiritual visions of our rishis, our munis are preserved in the original even after millenniums. Ideas like Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, you can understand, Tattvamasi, and Tad Vijnanartham Sa Gurumeva Bhigachet, and several other statements we can understand by learning Sanskrit. Sanskrit is thus the world's oldest language, which enjoys an unbroken tradition of at least 5,000 years or probably much more. It has been a language of inspiration for many people over the centuries, both in the modern and the ancient times. With this conviction in mind, the Advaita Academy from Hyderabad is launching from today, the 18th of October. 18 is a very mystical number also in Sanskrit. We say Astadasha Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachanam Dvayam. Veda Vyasa, Krishna Dvaipayana Veda Vyasa wrote many works, and he also wrote 18 Mahapuranas, 18 Upapuranas. Astadasha Puraneshu. Among the 18 Puranas, Vyasa said only two things, they say, summarized the quintessence of the 18 Mahapuranas. Vyasasya Vachanadvayam Paropakaraha Punyaya. If you do help others, it is bringing you merit, Punya. Papaya Parapidanam. If you want to incur sin, then you harass others. And people are more interested in harassing others, and nobody is interested in helping or doing. So Astadasha, today 18 number is very mystic. They also say it's a mystical number. In the Mahabharata epic, there are 18 chapters totally. 18 parvas, 18 parvas are there. And even coming to the world famous Bhagavad Gita also has 18 chapters. And the war between Kauravas and Pandavas took place for 18 days. And on both the sides put together, the Akshauhini, the armies on both the sides of Kauravas and Pandavas were also put together 18. And the war lasted for 18 days, something like that. So we are launching this Sanskrit for the beginner classes by this Advaita Academy on a very auspicious mystical number day today. The classes of Sanskrit. And with a view to benefit all those interested who are far and near, while considering the whole world as a family. A concept long ago conceived in only Sanskrit. Ayam nijaha paroveti ganana laguchetasam. A wonderful poem which is inscribed on the above, on the seat above where the Speaker of Lok Sabha sits there. In India, Lok Sabha, Parliament is there, and the Lok Sabha, the Speaker, above the Speaker, this poem is inscribed there. Ayam nijaha. This is my man. Paroveti, that is another man. He is a different man. He belongs to somebody else. Iti ganana, this kind of consideration, laghu chetasam, petty-minded people do that. Petty-minded people consider this is my man, this is my village man, this is my countryman, this is another man. Whereas laghu chetasam, that is the ganana consideration, thinking of the petty-minded people. Udara charitanam, people who are noble-hearted, large-hearted. Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Vasudha eva kutumbakam. The entire world is like a family for the noble-hearted, large-hearted people. This is the perhaps thing which is there in the mind of this Advaita Academy, and therefore we are launching these classes. And also like to quote a few lines from Swami Vivekananda, who was very insistently said about Sanskrit. What he said, the very sound of Sanskrit words gives a prestige, a power and strength to the race. Therefore Sanskrit education must go on. Why do you not become Sanskrit scholars? Why do you not spend millions to bring education to all castes of India? As soon as you have that, none dare say anything against you. Now what a powerful way of exhorting and encouraging Sanskrit study by Swami Vivekananda. And I also would like to quote the father of our nation, Indian nation, what he said about this great language. I deeply regret that I was not able to acquire a more thorough knowledge of the language Sanskrit, because I have since realized that every Hindu boy and girl should possess sound Sanskrit learning. Now this is said by no other than Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, and there are several opinions expressed by several people all over the world. Now with this few words about Sanskrit, I am going to introduce you to the book that we are going to follow. Here is a wonderful book. Now what is said, we have a saying also in Sanskrit, Siddhamannam parityajya bhikshamatati durmati. A foolish fellow goes for begging when there is already food readily available. Now like that, these books are prepared by Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan. You can also see on the, can you show that? This is a book called Diksha, Prathama Diksha, Samskrita Swadhyaya, Teach Yourself series, Prathama Diksha, and we start with the, because we are going to learn from the beginning, Varnamala, the alphabet is there in this entire, and how to practice the Varnamala. Practicing Varnamala is very important, and that is the foundation on which the language is structured, and therefore we have to be very convenient and familiarly convenient with the script, and therefore I have gone through all the 5 books are there. I think people who are viewing this lecture can access this website or email. I will read out the email, rska@nda.vsnl.net.in, and ask for the books. Books are available in plenty, I suppose, and the website is www.sanskrit.nic.in. Either going through the website or mailing to the email. I will repeat the email address. Can you choose, Tara? Can you show that email address on next page? Second, third. Or I will read out. RSKS email ID, rska@nda.vsnl.net.in. The website is www.sanskrit.nic.in. I would recommend the students to get hold of this book for following, and it's a wonderful book. As I said, Siddhamannam, this is a ready-made stuff given to you without much going through. Otherwise it is said, Vyakaranam, they used to, in ancient times, Dvadasha Varshaihi Vyakaranam Shruyate, we have a saying in Panchatantra, 12 years they used to study grammar only. 12 years time they used to spend for learning grammar. Now you can understand, the history of grammar is such that they had to allocate 12 years of time. This is something like learn Sanskrit in 30 days. Provided you give 6 hours a day, not 1 hour a day, but if you spare 6 hours a day, you can learn Sanskrit in 30 days. Like so many books are available in India, maybe in abroad also. Learn French in 30 days, learn German in 30 days. Like that, learn Sanskrit in 30 days. Yes, you can learn. If you devote 6 hours a day, you can really learn and then begin to relish the beauty and the knowledge that is available. Sanskrit is a language of knowledge basically. It is a language of knowledge, and it also leads us from darkness to ignorance, and it's a language which leads us from depression to expression, like in the case of Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning he was depressed, totally depressed. He did not want to take up his arms as being a Kshatriya. He did not want to fight. When the teaching of Gita was given to him, his depression went away and he started expression came. Nasto moha smritir labdha Tvat prasadat maya achyuta. Now my moha is gone, my delusion is gone. Now my memory is restored. I will do whatever you say, O Krishna. Something like that. It is a language for self-motivation also. You can motivate yourself when there is no one to motivate you. Like I keep saying, give the example of Lord Hanuman in Ramayana, when he was totally depressed and thought of committing suicide. He thought it is better to commit suicide than go and report the bad news that Sita was not seen by him. So he has a series of thoughts, they are depressive thoughts, and then there was nobody to counsel him or advise him or encourage him, and he had to encourage himself by his own self. And that is why we say, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. You have to uplift yourself by yourself. And Hanuman did it, and he came out very successfully. and that is where we say this is the language for self-motivation, knowledge, for expression, and for several things. I wish all you will understand. It is not simply saying, oh, this person is saying so many things, but I want you to really experience it. And with my experience of teaching elsewhere in the city, I know that after a few classes, you will really love to continue with the language and enjoy the content that is contained in it. So this is the book Varnamala that we are going to follow. We may start for some. Can you show the first page?
Yes.
Now Samskrita Varnaha, it is there on the page 1, Samskrita Varnaha, Swara Varnaha. There are vowels first described here. In Sanskrit, we have these vowels: A, I, U, Ru, 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 A, I, O, Au. Now some are pure vowels, some are diphthongs here, and these are all covered here under vowels only. A to Au. And Vyanjana, they are called Swara Varna. There is also a technical explained. What is a Swara? In linguistics we say a vowel is a sound which is pure, which is produced from the mouth without any interference of the tongue. Swayam Rajanti iti Swaraha. That is the definition given. The sounds, vowels are produced from the mouth without anywhere touching of the tongue. Tongue interferes otherwise. Tongue does not interfere in the production of the vowel, and therefore they are called Swaraha. Now Vyanjana is not like that. It's where in the production of consonants, the tongue keeps on touching, and here again Panini was the first person to tell us in a linguistic manner that how the sounds are produced from the throat level to the lip level. Kantya to Ostya. Akuha Visarjanyanam Kantaha, Ichueshanam Talu, Ruturashanam Murda, Ruturasanam Danta, Upupadmaniyam Ostau. So sound production, complete description of the sounds and the places of production is given by Panini. A and Kavarga are produced from the throat, gutturals, what we call. We are going to see that later. Vyanjana Varna, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Gna, Cha, Cha, Ja, Jha, Nya, Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Ana, Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na, Pa, Pha, Ba, Bha, Ma, Ya, Ra, La, Va. Now these are the consonants. Now I will also give you the equivalent English words where for the sake of pronunciation. Some of I am told for the Tavarga, which is not there, the words like Tavarga, Ta, Tha, Da, Dha, Na, which are not there in English. They do not exist in English. English letters are only 26, whereas Sanskrit 33 consonants and so many vowels are there, 9 or 12 vowels are together. So again, next page, you please put on the camera. Now, beginners have to have some patience to practice this Varnamala. Lekhana Vidhi. See, there is a hook like in like 3 it is written, and then one you can see one matra is given like that, and then how the letter is made, shown in 5 stages here in the first part. Just a hook and another hook, and then it's like a 3, and then one horizontal small line, and then vertical line. You get to the letter A. First letter emerged from the mouth, A. And then when the long elongation is shown in Sanskrit by a vertical stroke. Added with another stroke, it becomes A. Then E, how is E made? The next vowel. Just a stroke, vertical, and then a hook, then hook down, and then like E. And a long vowel of E is made with another hook on the top. E. A, E, E, U. One down stroke, again something like 3, and you put a bar. Bar is only sometimes written. So oo is very simple. It is just like 3 with a bar above. And oo, the elongated version of oo is like in food. I will give you example later. Oo is written like that. Then ru, rushi, ru, one hook there and another down there. You can see that, and like that you write rushi, ru, and in rushi we use that. And ru is coming. La, first you write la, how it is developed in 3 stages, and then give a hook beneath. L. So I, u, ru, ru. A is a sound. It's coming like this. It is very conveniently, I think you can make it out. A in 3 stages it is given, and O is given. If you write A, long vowel of akara, A, and give a stroke above, it becomes O-okara. And then another stroke, it is aukara. Then is given several stages here. You write A, basically if you are through with akara, then put a anuswara, one dot above, it becomes aha. And this vertical 2 dots are called visarga in Sanskrit, visarjaniyasya visarga, where the breath is let out actually. When I say aha, you can feel, you put your wrist against your mouth, you can see kavihi, guruhu, devaha, the breath is exhaled, it is let out, and you feel the breath coming out. It is called visarjaniya. So breath, letting out the breath, and this visarga takes different pronunciation depending on the preceding vowel. If it is devaha, it is sound like ha, h, a. If it is kavihi, if it is a word ending in e, then it will be hi. If it is a word ending in u, then it will be guruhu, hu. So visarga as such has no definite pronunciation, it depends on the preceding vowel. Then the ka letter, the first consonant here, you give a small hook like thing and then a stroke, then 1/3 stage and 4th stage you get it correct. Then the aspirated part of the ka is ka. You give a stroke like this, what you see in the screen, and then add a hook, then a vertical stroke, and then you get ka. You get ga just like inverted coat, something like coat it is looking, half coat, and then you give a vertical line, you get ga. Ga is easier only. Ga, the aspirated part is like this, written this way, in 4 stages it is shown. Nga, and now this is another sound which is like ng in sound in English. Nga, ka, ka, ga, ga, nga. So it is something like S with a top vertical line and then with a dot in the middle. And then we come to gutturals, palatals, cha, chavarga, just a horizontal small stroke with a hook down and then vertical stroke. I think this should not be a problem. Horizontal small stroke and then a hook down and then vertical stroke. And the aspirated form of it, what we call this alpa prana, mahaprana. Unaspirated is called alpa prana, aspirated is called mahaprana. Mahaprana means breath, more breath. Ka, ka, in saying that. So similarly, ja is also a hook is there, and then a horizontal stroke, then a vertical stroke, then you get jakara, ja. This is in the first stage a little vertical and then a hook, then down, then you have to see it carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages are there. Ja. Nya. This sound is another sound which is equivalent. I will show you later in the next page. Nya. Just a hook and then a little horizontal, then vertical, it becomes nya. Then this retroflex, one neither little, this stroke, one hook, it is very simple actually. We just hook like, writing from left to right, hook. And then is complete, is very easy, just a circle and vertical. And da is also easy, like S you write in English and put a vertical line. And dha is complete, like ta you write and then give a inside you give a loop and then it becomes dha. This is like developed in 3 stages. One vertical, another you make it a U shape and then give a neither stroke. U, first you write U and then give a stroke, it becomes ana. Then ta varga, we are coming to the dentals. Ta is very easy. You either put a vertical stroke and put a hook like or a hook with a vertical stroke. It is in 2 stages, 3 stages you get it. Tha, you have to form a loop and down, and as you can see in the book, tha, it is called tha. Tha. And the is also simple with a little vertical down and then a hook and then down. The this is written this way with a loop coming down, further down and then a vertical line. Na, this is a easy sound, na, the nasal, just a hook horizontal and then one neither stroke. Na, as in name and nama. Then we come to labials. Pa, off, coming down, hook and then neither stroke. Pa. The same pa, if it is extended to the right side, it becomes pa. And then ba, one semicircle and then one neither stroke, and in the circle you give a stroke. This will become ba, ba. This is written differently. Ba aspirated of one hook and stroke and then horizontal and then you get a vertical stroke. You get bha. And then we come to ma, another nasal, makara. The neither stroke with a loop like thing and then neither stroke. You get ma. Then you get the semi vowels here coming up. Ya. What is here written with a hook and then take a left to right and then vertical line. You get ya. Ra, also one hook like and then neither down. You get ra. La, and for la, lakara you have to give a hook up and then join it with a vertical line. La. Va is simple, just a semi circle and with a neither stroke. And then sha, shankara sha, and then hook and downwards and with a neither stroke. Sha, this is coming down and then making it like giving a vertical stroke and then in between you draw a line. It becomes sa, sha. And sa, the sibilant, sa is coming one something like in Sanskrit 2 number, one hook down and then in between and then vertical. Sa. Ha, one neither stroke small and then left and then you give a right and under it you take a give a matras hakara it becomes, and ksha is written like this. This is a combination, later will be explained. First give a loop and come this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages it is shown. And finally tra, there is a sound like tra, T-R-A, tra. So it is given like this, 1 stroke, 2 strokes, 1 vertical, and there you get it. And then nya, you have to something like 2 you write and then you give a stroke, then nya. And shra, sha and ra becoming shra. So, and how these different conjuncts are made also very elaborately this book is giving, and there is a lot of practice for you to get hold of this Varnamala. You have to practice as we go down. Will also make you practice. and in the next page we have a full description of the alphabet given in page, and there are 46 letters in Sanskrit. You can see the richness of the language.
Time is over.
Okay.
To conclude.
When are you meeting? Day after? Monday. Our next class will be on Monday, the same time. Shubham Bhuyat.